It was the first day back to school for students in St. Tammany Parish this morning, and when they arrived, there was an added level of protection. For the first time ever, a school resource officer is staffed at every school. Jacqueline Quinn has more on this story from Selman High School in Slidell.
Some schools in St. Tammany Parish have had a resource officer, but now every school should have one, as well as a mental health counselor. Now, this change happened after a discussion following the Parkland shooting. That's when school board members came together and voted to place an armed school officer and a mental health counselor in every school. Now, some parents believe that this will help with quick response times. And you may remember just earlier this year when a student brought a makeshift chemical bomb to Covington High School. Well, a resource officer quickly responded there. Earlier this morning, we talked with some parents about how this change may make them feel and how it affects their students.
Well, it definitely makes me feel a lot better. I mean, I think that, you know, kids need to be able to have somebody to talk to. And I know a lot of schools have gotten rid of guidance counselors and the things that they used to do back when I was in high school. So I think it's good that they have that mental health professional, and then, you know, having the resource officer is important because it's someone that's trained and knows what to do.
The incident that happened up in Covington, you know, it hit home because we were less than a few miles away from there. So even my kids had questions and then concerns and things like that. So yeah, I definitely think it's something that's needed.
And we talked to local law enforcement, including Chief Tim Lenz of Covington Police, and he says a resource officer will not be able to prevent anything or everything from happening. And in Parkland, well, the parents there are actually suing the resource officer at their school, saying that he didn't do enough. Reporting in Slidell, Jacqueline Quinn, Eyewitness News.
And there is an added cost. Staffing every school with an officer and a mental health counselor will cost $4 million. That's being paid for mainly by the school board.